All right, so living in Nevada, there's certain parts of the state, especially since I live in southern Nevada, there's a mountain range. On one side of the mountain, it's silver. The other side of the mountain, it's gold. And then there's a highway that goes through the mountains. On one side of the highway is gold, and on the other side of the highway is nothing. So if you look right here, this is a miner's camp. And I'm sure this is a miner's camp because it's pretty big. And so basically, this is where the miners lived. And that was probably the door right there. It seems like it was smashed down from the last time I was here. The only reason I think it's a miner's camp, it's the sheer size of it. If you know anything about these camps, they have smaller ones. And the smaller ones were actually what we would call powder houses. And the powder houses would be where they would store the dynamite, TNT, and it would be away from the houses for the fact that they did not want it to blow up because they put the TNT, dynamite, nitroglycerin in it, and they just did not want to have it blow up. And so either that's the door there, or this would have been the door. But this one's kind of small here. I'm trying to figure out why it would be so small, because even I would have to almost crawl through it. But like I said, it's been demolished. People come by. I think people are trying to see if there's gold. If you look here, you'll see these white rocks. And what the miners looked for was quartz. And what basically the quartz would have been where they would find the gold or the gold dust. And basically they would look for quartz veins, which would have been a white line. So if you ever see how would I call it, a white quartz line through some granite or other rocks formation, that's where the gold would be. So they would actually go in there and they would hope that they would be able to mine the I'm looking at this rock and I'm thinking it's a meteor, but they would mine the quartz out, the white quartz. Rose quartz actually has a lot of gold too, and then they would grind it up and hopefully they get the gold out of it. But another thing that they would do is they would look for washes, and right here, if you look down here, you'll see the wash. And basically, if you can see the white rocks here, that was probably what they were looking for, is the white rocks. And basically there's a black rocks that go with it. It's pretty much metallic, and that's where gold is really done. So what they do is they look for a wash, and if you look down here, you'll see some rocks. The gold would actually, if there's a lot of water, would actually hide behind those rocks there. And if you can tell by the bigger rocks, there's smaller rocks behind it. And that's what the gold would do. And you can see the rocks from the side over here falling down. So that's probably where they would be mining. So this is probably the reason why they did here. The road wouldn't have been here. You would have seen the water coming down over here in 3 or 4 different directions. It would come down here. And as you can tell, there's a gray area where it's accumulated. You have this white rock here, which is probably the same white rocks you see that built this house. And so basically I'm sure that they were using that white rock to build the house, but they were also looking to see if it contained gold. And then they would go down here to this wash, and then they would look for gold dust. But if I can get to the other place, I think it's closed today. I was just told it was closed. Let me go down and see if I can get like a 5-minute video down there, and then we'll take off, and I'll get home and get this up. But the other place, I actually was down there and I was looking, and there was a lot of mica, which is fool's gold. And I was like almost doing the Walter Houston dance from Treasure of Sierra Madre when I looked in the water, and it was nothing but glistening this gold. So I cleared it all up, went home, panned it out for like a week, and then I found out it was fool's gold. But I'll explain to you how to tell if fool's gold or not. If you look down there, there's some road runners right there. See them running down there? Them are actually road runners. There you go. They're running now. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it here. So that was my 5-minute video for you guys for the day, for you guys that are really bored. And then you can tell. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of these. I'm not supposed to. I'm going to test. Oh, such a klutz. I want to test these out to see if they're magnetic. What you can do with the, oh, these aren't. Well, maybe, yeah, this is kind of heavy. But basically, what you can tell with meteors is the weight on it. This one's not as heavy as this one here. This one's a lot heavier. I'll just come back another day. But basically, they're magnetic because they're full of iron. And that's what we did. But they're all black, and these rocks are white, which makes me wonder why they have the color difference. I'm not going to take anything. This is federal land. You can get in trouble for taking it stuff and using metal detectors here. Like, for instance, that brown rock, that really shouldn't even be in there. So, all right, that's going to do it here. Okay. This is the other one. Why do they got these pipes here? So I'm thinking over here is probably where the stove was. And that may have been, this actually may even been a working area here where they brought the water in and used it to sift the gold, pan the gold to see if it was actually like that. Because usually you'd see a circle and the mules would go around and that's where they would grind it up. So it's just weird how this it's a small hole, then it goes down into the ground. So, all right, that's going to do it. Bye-bye.